बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम।
शुरू अल्लाह के नाम से जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम वाला है।
कर बर्दशादारे हो वसीला बख्शिश इरादा करना मातम कर बर्दशादारे हो वसीला बख्शिश इरादा मेरे सीने अंदर कब्रे हुसैनी मेरा कहना हर साल करबला मेरे सीने अंदर कब्रे हुसैनी मेरा कहना हर साल करबला
मेरी हयाती मातम में शादा मेरी हयाती मातम में शादा।
नारे तकबीर, नारे रिसालत, नारा हैदरी, नारा हैदरी, मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद बुलंद सलावत।
रहमल्लाहु सूरतल फातिहा। Can we have a loud salawat for Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, please? For the forgiveness of our sins and the sins of our forefathers, can we have a loud salawat, please? For the Zuhur of Qaim Ali Muhammad, can we have a loud salawat, please? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وحبيب إله العالمين الذي قيل في شانه وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين أعني أبي القاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. قال عز وجل في قرآن المجيد الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور صدق الله العلي العظيم. Can we have a loud salawat? Alhamdulillah. First of all, we would like to thank Allah Azza wa Jal, who has given us all an opportunity in our life that we have gathered here tonight to remember Madhloom Karbala, Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam, because this is the night of Arba'een. It is the 40th after Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. And the reason why every single year we as a community, as a society, as a group, as followers of Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, the reason why we gather night after night, week after week, month after month, year after year, in the majalis, in the zikr of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, because it is our iman, it is our belief, it is with yaqeen that we believe that by remembering Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, by doing the zikr, by sitting where the zikr of Ali Muhammad is taking place, we are moving towards perfection. Every single person in his life, he is trying to move towards perfection. He is trying to make himself a better person. We spend days and nights in search of rizq. We are trying to find a rizq so we can feed ourselves and we can feed our families and we can feed our children, so we can bring them up, make them healthier, make them stronger, make their bodies perfect. Every single person is doing this. When he works, he's not just doing it for himself, but many of us from the communities that we belong in. If you're from the Pakistani or Indian community, if you are from the Iranian community, if you are from the Iraqi community, you are not just working for yourself. By working, you are also with the intention that the rizq, the wealth that Allah Azza wa Jal will give you, you will support yourself, you will support your family, and you will support those people in the community that are in need of your support. That's why in Islam we have a concept of zakat and we have a concept of khums. Why do we have this? Because Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to help ourselves and He also wants us to help the community. So every single person is working towards improving himself and the society around him. Then why, when it comes to the religion of Islam, why is it that we forget that if at the same time we need food to sustain this body, if we need rizq, if we need wealth to have a position in society, to have a position within the community, we need money, we need wealth. Then why, when it comes to learning about the religion of Ali Muhammad, why is it that we start to move away from the religion of Ali Muhammad? We need to understand that every single thing in our life, it is in a perfect balance which Allah Azza wa Jal has created. And we need to maintain this balance if we want to be successful in this world and if we want to be successful in the hereafter. So we are doing everything to make this world a success for us. But what are we doing to make the hereafter a success for us also? Alhamdulillah, by you being here tonight, it proves that not are you only working and trying to improve your world, but Alhamdulillah, at the same time, you want to also perfect your akhirat. And this is the reason why you are sitting here today. And we all want to move towards this perfection. But before we can move towards perfection, before we can move towards improving our bodies and our souls and our minds and our hearts, what is it that we need to do so we can step on this ladder or on this path towards perfection? Alhamdulillah, in front of you I recited from Surah Al-Baqarah, in which Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the protecting friend of those who believe. Amanu. Allah says, Allahu waliyul ladina amanu. He is a protecting friend of all those who believe. The condition which Allah has put in the beginning of this verse is that Allah will protect those people who believe in Him. Now we need to understand what is Iman. Allahu waliyul ladina amanu. What is Iman according to Allah Azza wa Jal and according to the teachings of Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Can we all laugh salat? So before we can move towards perfection, before we can move towards perfecting our bodies, our minds, our souls, our hearts, we need to understand what is Iman. What is belief? Someone came to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam and said to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, Ya Ali, can you tell us what is Iman? Can you tell us what is religion? Can you tell us what is deen? Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam looks at him and says that the religion of Islam, Iman, is in two parts. People think that to follow religion, to follow Islam, it is very difficult. But they don't understand that Islam is the easiest religion to follow. Why? Because every single thing is written in the Quran. For example, if you go and buy pack furniture and you want to build this piece of furniture, for example, you buy wardrobes and you want to build them at home. And when you start opening the box, you realize that there is no instruction manual inside this box. What is the first thing that you will do? You will return to the shop where you purchased this furniture and you will say to them that I have purchased this from you, but there is no instruction manual. How am I supposed to put this wardrobe together? And if that person says to you it is easy, you only need a screwdriver and you can start putting together, you will eventually put it together. But will that wardrobe be put together according to the specifications that the people who made this wardrobe, will it be according to the specifications of how they made it? That wardrobe will be put together according to how you think this wardrobe fits together. But look, Allah Azza wa Jal has sent us into this world not only so that we can live our life without a guide. And the biggest guide, the biggest manual that Allah Azza wa Jal has given us so that we can put together our lives and move towards perfection and keep that balance in our lives is the Quran of Allah Azza wa Jal. Ya. So Allah has given us a manual. And those people that have been brought up in this country, they will understand better that if we have something written, especially for the youth, if you tell them to do something and it is written down on a piece of paper, they will understand the instructions better than if you say to them, I want you to do these 10 points, dictate the 10 points and then expect them to memorize them and carry out the task. That is much harder for the youth. Because we have been brought up to do everything. For example, when you are in primary school, you know that today you have got this, you have got that class. When you move into secondary school, you have a set planner. You know at this time it is your maths class, it is your geography class, your RE class, you've got PE. So we are brought up according to, and we are taught from a young age that everything is done according to a manual, according to a law which is set and written. Then why is it that when it comes to the teachings of Islam that our youth say that it is very hard for us to implement on the Quran? Is this a fault of the youth? Or is this a fault of the people that are trying to teach the youth? It is a bit of both. Because unless a youngster, unless a child does not want to learn about the religion of Ali Muhammad, then a teacher cannot teach him the religion of Ali Muhammad. You need to have a vessel. And if that vessel is willing to take water, is willing to take ilm, then you can fill that vessel. But if that vessel is already full with those things that do not concern the religion, then how are you supposed to put religion inside that vessel? So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to, not just the youth, the elders as well, the adults, including myself. If I want to learn something from the religion of Ali Muhammad, I need to take something out of this vessel which has nothing to do with the religion of Ali Muhammad. I need to pure this vessel. I need to purify this vessel. And how can I purify this vessel? I can only purify this vessel by remembering Allah Azza wa Jal. Because the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal gives you that power, gives you that capability that you can purify your mind. Because we find in narrations, Aimma alayhi salatu wasalam say that by remembering Allah Azza wa Jal, by constantly doing the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, your heart and your mind is purified. And we can do this in 4 ways. According to the Rawayat, we can purify our mind, our soul, our hearts by doing 4 things. Firstly, we can purify our mind and heart by constantly doing the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal in our hearts. That is something that you can do alone. You don't need to constantly. And look, this is how simplified the religion is. You don't have to constantly put out a masalla, sit on the masalla, hold a tasbih in your hand, and constantly keep saying, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. But you can do the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. You can remember Allah by just remembering Allah in your heart. That is the first step. The second is by remembering Allah not just with the heart, but remembering Allah with the mind. Both of these things are linked. And I will come back to where I started. That what is Iman? What is belief? The first thing, remembering Allah with your heart. The second is remembering Allah Azza wa Jal with your mind. And both of these are linked how? That if you remember Allah with the mind but do not certify Allah in your mind, then you are not remembering Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you remember Allah Azza wa Jal just by thinking of Allah but do not certify the remembrance of Allah with your heart, then you are just deceiving yourself. You are not remembering Allah Azza wa Jal. What is the third thing? All these 4 things are linked with each other. The first is remembering Allah with the heart. The second is remembering Allah with the mind. The third is bringing this remembrance that you have in your heart and in your mind onto your tongue. Look, first you purify your heart, then you purify your mind. Once both of these remembrances are linked, then you can bring the zikr of Allah onto your tongue.
Narae Takbir,
Allahu Akbar.
Narae Risalat, Narae Haidari,
Ya Ali,
Husainiyat,
Zindabad,
Husainiyat,
Zindabad,
Shadidiyat,
Murdabad. So, then you can bring this remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal onto your tongue. And then when you constantly start remembering Allah Azza wa Jal, when you constantly start thinking of Allah Azza wa Jal, when you constantly start remembering Allah in your heart, then you are on the step that you are moving towards perfection. What is the fourth thing? So the first is remembering Allah with your heart. The second is remembering Allah with your mind. The third thing is connecting the first two things and bringing the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal onto your tongue. And the fourth thing that we find in Rawayat is actually physically implementing on this zikr and physically carrying out this task which is called namaz. So when everything is linked, then we have salah, then we have namaz. And that's when you can actually stand on the prayer mat and you can be certain that you are now moving towards perfection. And then when we stand on the prayer mat, when we start remembering Allah Azza wa Jal, what is the first thing that we do after Takbiratul Ihram? Which is the first surah that we read in namaz? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. The first surah that we read is Fatiha. And we need to understand what is the meaning of Al-Fatiha if we want to move towards perfection. Because namaz, salah is not by just learning it by heart and just repeating it as a chore day in, day out, 5 times a day. But if you want to connect with Allah Azza wa Jal, if you want to move closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, you need to understand what is the meaning of salah, what is the meaning of what you are saying. So every single time when we stand up for namaz, we say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We praise Allah Azza wa Jal. Which Allah do we praise? Rabbul Alameen. He is not just a God for this world. He is not just Allah for this world that we are in. But He is Rabbul Alameen. Wherever there is a world, Allah has created it. Allah is the Lord of that world. MashaAllah. And then every single time we read namaz, there is a verse that we repeatedly say in our salah 5 times a day. What do we say? Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us. Ya bring us onto the path which is right. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Every single day, 5 times a day, we say this. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. We are constantly asking Allah. Why? Because the reason that we have come into this world is that we want to move towards perfection. And Allah Azza wa Jal also wants us to move towards perfection. That's why every single time we read namaz, we are always requesting Allah, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. And then we say, Sirat al-ladina an'amta. What does this mean? Guide us onto that path upon which your favors come upon, not upon that path for whom people go astray. So we are constantly praying to Allah, requesting Allah that we want to be on that path that takes us Azza wa Jal, not on that path that moves away from Allah Azza wa Jal. So we are constantly, mentally, physically, in our hearts and our minds, by every single action that we do willingly or unknowingly, we are moving or we want to move towards perfection. Now coming back to this verse which I recited from Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Now coming back to what is amanu. Now we have understood that belief, to attain that level of certainty, we need to remember Allah. But what is iman? What is certainty? Certainty, let me give you an example. A little child, when he is playing at home, his father or his mother will pick up that child, and what will they do? They will throw that child in the air. Now every single father in this room has done this. When you are playing with your child, you will pick up your child and you will throw your child in the air. Is your child crying at that time? No. Well, most children, they don't cry. But they are happy. They are laughing. When you throw the child up, he begins to laugh more. Why is it? Because this little child that you are throwing up into the air, this child deep inside its heart, even though it is probably a 1-year, 2-year-old child, it has yaqeen, it has iman, it has belief, it has certainty inside its heart that when he is going up into the air, when he comes down, his father will catch him. He has certainty, he has iman, even though he is a 1-year-old, 2-year-old or a 6-month-old child. He has certainty, he has iman and yaqeen inside his heart that when he goes up and he comes down, his father or his uncle, they will catch him. Then why, when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal, we move away from Allah and this yaqeen and this iman that we have or we should have of Allah Azza wa Jal, it is weakened. The reason for that is because we have started to remember Allah less and less. As I said, Alhamdulillah, the reason why you are sitting here is because you want to move towards Allah, you want to connect with Allah. And Allah has given us the best wasila that we can ask for. He has given us Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. He has given us those A'imma alayhi salatu wasalam that every single action in their life will move us towards Allah. Their wiladat, their shahadat, every single action that they have done in their lives, if we read and understand what they have done, it is a way for us to connect with Allah. So this child has belief. This child has yaqeen. Let me give you another example. A teacher has 4 students. Now you have heard probably this example many times. But sometimes when we listen to an example, we don't actually understand what is the meaning of the example. But if we want to use these examples to enlighten our lives, then we need to understand that these examples are not just to listen to, but these examples are here for us so that we can understand and move towards perfection. So a teacher has 4 students, and this teacher gives each student a chicken. A chicken. And the teacher says to the students that I want you to take this chicken and find such a place where Allah Azza wa Jal cannot see you, and I want you to kill this chicken. So all 4 students, they take the chicken. One goes into the basement and kills the chicken. One goes into a locked room and kills the chicken. One goes deep into the woods, finds a tree that has a hole inside, goes inside that tree, and he kills the chicken. But there is one student that is holding the chicken, and he has not moved from the spot that his teacher said to him that go kill this chicken. The teacher is watching him. All these other 3 students, they kill the chicken and they bring the chicken back. Now they are all looking at this one student and they are laughing at him, saying that, why have you not killed the chicken? And the teacher asks him that, why don't you tell them what is the reason why you have not killed this chicken? Now this student looks at his teacher and he says that I have been thinking that Allah Azza wa Jal is the Lord of the worlds. And you have taught us that there is no such place where Allah Azza wa Jal cannot see us. And I have been thinking hard, and I could not think of such a place where Allah Azza wa Jal could not see me. Thus I am still standing here with this chicken alive. What is the moral of this story? Go. Alhamdulillah. The reason for our lectures is that the youth understand. And Alhamdulillah, he is understanding what I am saying. So the reason why he did not move, because he had iman, he had yaqeen, he had certainty inside his heart that no matter where he went, Allah Azza wa Jal is watching over him. Then what is the reason why when we commit a sin, why do we forget that Allah Azza wa Jal is not watching us? When it comes to doing something outside in public, when it comes to doing something in our community and society, we always, not once or twice, but we think 100 times, what effect will this have on my reputation? What effect will this have in the eyes of my kin, in my family? What will my friends say if I commit this action? Why is it that we forget that these relationships that we have, they are only limited to this world? Your friends will stay in this world. Your mother and father will stay in this world. Your wife and your children will only stay in this world. There is only one relation that will carry you from this world to the hereafter, and that is the iman in the tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Muhammad. Can we have a loud salawat, please? And the relation is the relation of tawheed. Once we have attained this certainty that Allah Azza wa Jalla is one, then we can move on to the second part of Iman. Iman is not just believing in Allah Azza wa Jalla, but Iman is split into 3 parts. The first is believing in the Tawheed of Allah, and the second is believing in the Risalat of Khatamul Anbiya Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa. Once we have attained the level of certainty, once we've got Iman in Allah, once we've got Iman in Rasulullah, then we can have the wilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. So once we have Tawheed, then we will have Risalat, and then we will have the wilayat. And once all of these beliefs, the belief of Allah, the belief of Rasulullah, the belief of Ali ibn Abi Talib, when they are put together, that's when we have Iman. But look, putting every single thing together, Allah has given us an Imam who is Kulli Imam. And we do not need to look further than the blessed A'imma alayhi salatu wasalam that Allah Azza wa Jal has given us. So going back to the verse, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Now we understand what is Iman. So Allah is the protecting friend of those who have Iman. The next part of this ayat, what does Allah say? يُخْرِجُهُمْ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. So once you have the Iman of Allah, now you understand what is Iman. Once you have the Iman, the belief, the yaqeen, the certainty of Allah Azza wa Jal, then what will you get in return? Allah Azza wa Jal will take you out of darkness and towards the light of Allah Azza wa Jal. But this Iman needs to be complete. He cannot say that I only believe in Allah Azza wa Jal and be amongst those people that say that the book of Allah Azza wa Jal is enough for us, and have certainty that Allah will guide you out of darkness and towards the light. No, you cannot be amongst those people that say that we only believe in Allah and in the sunnah of Rasulullah, and then have the certainty that Allah will take you out of darkness and towards the light of Allah. But Iman in the complete form is that you have the Iman of Allah, you have the Risalat of Rasulullah, and when you have the Wilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib, you will be amongst those people that will be with the light of Allah.
Narae Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Narae Risalat.
Ya Rasulullah.
Sulaiman Narae Haydari.
Ya Ali.
For the hastening of the final Imam Buland Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Then you will be on the path towards the light of Allah.
MashaAllah.
Now coming back to why we have gathered here tonight. We have gathered to remember the 40th of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. This Jahlam, it is a very difficult time for Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Because this path of guidance, this path of hidayat started with Khatamul Anbiya. And this nur of hidayat, this light of guidance that will move us out of darkness and towards the light of Allah, after the passing of Rasulullah, was passed to Amir al-Mu'mineen. And this silsila of hidayat, of guiding people out of darkness, continued. Because Allah Azza wa Jal has not left us without a guide. As I said, that the law that we have to move towards Allah Azza wa Jal is the Quran. But the Holy Prophet said that I am not just leaving you the Quran, I am leaving you the Quran and my blessed Ahlul Bayt. If you stick to both of them, then you will be guided. So we cannot separate the Quran from Ali Muhammad, and we cannot separate Ali Muhammad from the Quran. Because if we want to understand the Quran, we need to look at Ali Muhammad. And if we want to understand who Ali Muhammad are, then we need to look at the Quran. Because it is in the Quran that Allah says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. This is the Quran that is telling us That the Holy Prophet said, Allah is saying that we do not want anything in return. Illa. Allah says, now this is that context of the Quran, this is that thing that Allah uses in the Quran, is love only comes in that situation where the thing that comes after this, Allah will not accept anything other than what Allah wants. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. We do not want anything in return. Because many people thought that we could give Rasulullah wealth and we could say, Ya Rasulullah, you have given us the religion of Islam. We were animals and you guided us towards being a proper human. We were those people that burnt our women alive. We burnt our daughters alive. We were those people that drank alcohol and drank meat which was not killed according to the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. You have given us the religion of Islam. We want to give you something in return. But Allah says, oh my Prophet, say to them, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا. Allah is saying that the thing that I request cannot be replaced with any other thing that you think is suitable for paying the Prophet. Allah says, the only thing that I ask from you, إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Can we have a loud salawat, please? Allah says that the only thing that I request is that you love the family of Rasulullah. إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. And inshallah we will discuss in another lecture what is mawaddat and what is loving the Prophet's family. Because if every single person loved Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam the way the Holy Prophet wanted them to love Imam Hussain, then these Muslims would have not asked Imam Hussain to leave Medina. Only if they knew who Imam Hussain was. Azadar, those people that have gathered here to remember Imam Hussain, remember that you have been chosen by Fatima al-Zahra. This place that you are now sitting, you are not just sitting in Stoke, you are not just sitting in a building, you are not just sitting on the carpet, but this place is Farsh-e-Azhar. What is Farsh-e-Azhar? According to Rawayat, that place where the zikr of Ali Muhammad takes place, you are actually not just sitting here, but you are sitting under the dome of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Don't be disheartened that millions of Zawar have gone to the ziyarat of Imam Hussain and that you are sitting here. Because this Farsh-e-Azhar, you are not sitting here alone. Because in Rawayat we find wherever the zikr of Imam Hussain takes place, the Holy Prophet of Islam himself comes to listen to the zikr of Ali Muhammad. Don't think that you are just sitting here. You are sitting under the dome of Imam Hussain. And that is that place that every single dua that you ask Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will accept your dua. This is that place that every single one of you, I request you that today you make the niyat, you make one intention, and that intention is that next year on the day of Arba'een you will visit Imam Hussain. Inshallah. Because there is a narration from the sixth Imam, Imam Jaffar Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, that when Allah Azza wa Jal wants to shower His blessings upon someone, when Allah Azza wa Jal wants to shower His mercy upon someone, what does Allah Azza wa Jal do? Allah Azza wa Jal puts the desire of the ziyarat of Imam Hussain ﷺ into the hearts of the believers. So just by having this desire in your heart that one day you will do the ziyarat of Imam Hussain, I guarantee you that after tonight Allah Azza wa Jal will start showering His blessings upon you. Because the ziyarat of Imam Hussein holds such a level of acceptance in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, that the sixth Imam states that when a person goes to the ziyarat of Imam Hussein, all of his gunah, all of his sins are forgiven. The sixth Imam says, do you want to know what is the major sin that he will commit after coming back from the ziyarat of Imam Hussein? That he doubts that Allah Azza wa Jal has left one of my sins. All of your sins will be forgiven. Just by remembering Imam Hussein, Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive your gunah. These nights of Arba'een, especially tonight, millions of people are in Karbala. Why? Because they want to say to Imam Hussein, Ya Aba Abdullah, we want with you on the day of Ashur. We want that to help you when you said, is there anyone there to help me? Ya Aba Abdullah, we have come here today to pay our condolences. Condolences for who? Ya Aba Abdullah, we have come here to remember. We have come here to pay our condolences to Ali Akbar. Oh Aba Abdullah, we have come here to pay our condolences to Ali Asghar. Oh Aba Abdullah, we have come here to pay our condolences to Qasim. Oh Aba Abdullah, we have come to pay our condolences to your companions. This is why people go to Karbala. Azadaro, that we are remembering the 40th of Imam Hussein, but at the same time, don't forget that how many days have passed since the Shahadat of Sayyida Saqina. How many days have passed since the Shahadat of Saqina? Azadaro, there was a companion of Rasulullah, a very elderly companion. And when the Waqia of Karbala was taking place, he was away from the city of Damascus. He was away from Sham. And when he returned, what did he see? What did this companion see? He saw that this bazaar of Sham, it has been decorated with flowers. People are dressed up in their newly clothes, and there is an atmosphere of happiness. When this companion of Rasulullah returned to Damascus, he says, oh people, I do not remember that this is a day of Eid. Neither do I remember that the Prophet said that in this month there is a celebration that we should celebrate. Oh people, what is the reason why you are celebrating? They said, oh companion of Rasulullah, the reason why we are celebrating, the reason why the atmosphere is full of happiness, because Hussein ibn Ali has been killed in Karbala. When the companion of Rasulullah heard that Hussein had been killed in Karbala, he began to weep and he began to smack his head. He said, are you talking about that Hussein for which the Prophet said, Al-Hasani wal-Hussein, Sayyid Shababi Ahlul Jannah? The people said, yes, that Hussein in Karbala. Whilst this companion of Rasulullah is talking to the people, a caravan arrives into the bazaar of Sham. Azadaro, those people that have come to cry for Imam Hussein, when this caravan entered the bazaar, this companion of Rasulullah sees that there is a 4-year-old child in this caravan. Azadaro, he goes up to this 4-year-old child and he says, oh little child, tell me what is your name? Sayyida Saqina looks up at the companion of Rasulullah. She says, oh companion, my name is Saqina bint al-Hussein. When he hears that this is the daughter of Imam Hussein, this companion begins to cry and he says, wa gurbata, wa musibata, wa you, Yazid? What have you done to the family of Rasulullah? Azadaro, I want to tell you a miracle that took place in the bazaar of Sham. Imam al-Sajjad, when he was in this bazaar, a blind person came close to Imam al-Sajjad and he says, "Oh traveler, I am a blind person and I want to ask you if you could help me for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal." He asked once and he asked again and he asked the third time, but Azadaro, because this person was blind, he could not see that Imam al-Sajjad's hands were not free. Azadaro, how was Imam al-Sajjad in the bazaar of Sham? Imam al-Sajjad's hands were tied behind his neck. Imam al-Sajjad says to this person, "Because you have asked me for the sake of Allah, when I lift my feet you will find coins." Imam al-Sajjad lifts his feet and this blind person takes coins. At the same time he thinks that why didn't I ask for my eyes? Because this person looks like a friend of Allah. Azadaro, mourners of Imam Hussein, as soon as he thought this, Imam Sajjad says to him, "Oh person, do not ask for your eyes." He says, "Oh traveler, why shall I not ask for my eyes?" Imam Sajjad says to him, cutting the Messiah short, Imam Sajjad says to him, "I will give you your eyes on one condition, that when you get your eyes, you will not open your eyes." He thinks in his heart that what a person is this? He is giving me my eyes, but at the same time he is saying, "Do not open your eyes." Allah's Imam Sajjad says to him, "When I move my feet, get the soil and put it on your eyes." This person does what Imam Sajjad says. He puts the soil on his eyes. When he opens his eyes, what does he see? He sees that there are women in this caravan and their hands are tied behind their necks, and he sees spears with heads on, and he says, "Oh person, whose caravan is this?" Imam Sajjad begins to cry, and Imam Sajjad says, "This is the daughter of Ali Murtada." Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. This is the time of the acceptance of your du'as. This is a time for you to ask Allah Azza wa Jal for your desires. Ya Allah, we ask you with these tears of Imam Hussein in our eyes. Ya Allah, forgive our sins. Ya Allah, give us the tawfiq that next year we visit Aba Abdullah. Ya Allah, for the sake of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, forgive the sins of our marhumeen. Ya Allah, give us the tawfiq so we can properly guide our youth towards the teachings of Ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, for the sake of Imam Hussein, we beg you that you give us the ma'rifat of Imam al-Zaman alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya Allah, we ask you that you hasten the appearance of Imam al-Zaman for the acceptance of your du'as. Can we have a loud salawat please?